Welcome to Fantasy Basketball Preview. Today I will be talking about players to avoid in fantasy basketball next year. A point guard to avoid is Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose hasn't been the same player since he injured his MCL. He is just not the same player. Not MCL, ACL, sorry. That was a really crucial and devastating injury in his career. Before he got injured, he was an up-and-coming MVP caliber player. But after the injury, he was not nearly as explosive as he was before the injury. And he wasn't the same player because a lot of his game came from his explosiveness and ability to attack the rack. And on top of that, he's not that good a shooter anymore. He's a decent shooter, but he's still very streaky. And he's not able to stay in the lineup as much. So that makes him a high-risk player in fantasy basketball. When drafting players in fantasy, you want players that are for sure going to play and for sure going to produce. And that leads me to the next player, Eric Gordon. Similar to Derrick Rose, Eric Gordon has struggled with injuries as well. He was supposed to be a good top-tier guard in the league, but unfortunately, he also struggled with injuries, and that hampered his game. Instead of being helpful for the New Orleans Hornets, he is not. New Orleans Pelicans, sorry. Instead of being a good player for the Pelicans, he has been decimated by injuries and just not a very good help for his team. Next player, Chandler Parsons. Chandler Parsons has spent his summer with the Houston Rockets before he got signed by the Dallas Mavericks. Chandler Parsons was a good player with the Houston Rockets, but after signing a contract with the Dallas Mavericks, he wasn't nearly as effective a player as he was with Houston. He saw his numbers decline, and he's not nearly the same player as he was in Houston. Another player to avoid, similar to Derrick Rose and Chandler Parsons, not Derrick Rose and Eric Gordon, he is injury prone. In fantasy, you don't want to draft injury prone players. You want to draft players that are for sure going to play. Even though Nerlens Noel is still young, has a lot of upside, he is for sure going to miss time next season. He has never played a full season in the NBA. And even back to his college days, he's always missed time during the season. So it's going to be a risk to draft him. Finally, center. Dwight Howard is another player to avoid. Dwight Howard is that player that was very flashy, could do all the dunks, and was very explosive in Orlando. He's not that player anymore. He's no longer the 25 and 10 player that he was in Orlando. He's more the 17 and 10 player on a good day. Dwight Howard is slowly seeing his production decline and his role diminish in Houston, which means he's likely going to be a free agent and he's going to look to go somewhere else. Dwight Howard may see his role expand on a different team, but that doesn't take away from the fact that His body has been decimated by injuries in the past 2 years, and his production is seeing a steep decline. So, in summary, the players I would avoid are Derrick Rose, Eric Gordon, Chandler Parsons, Nerlens Noel, and Dwight Howard. Next episode, I will be talking about sleepers in the fantasy basketball.